Friday, man.
Hey, it all started. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe God put you in my plate. You know what I mean? For the reason we met. I
I,
swear to God,
and I,
I'm not joking. I talk about you a lot more than like I talk about like I consider you one of my mentors, straight up.
mm,
You and then I had another mentor, which was one of the investigators. He was a civilian, and the investigators like worked with them, but unfortunately he passed away. But like you, him, and that's it. Like no other people can influence me or influence like my movement. Can like obviously like, compared to you, like you were literally one of those trigger points. The work ethic, the intensity, the like I'm in boot camp, and I'm like, this is a joke. Like, no offense to the military, but like our training was a lot more intense than anything the boot camp could throw at us. Anything. I'm like, if I can see Dorian do 315 for like 50 reps for like no, I'm like, why is this guy even like now that I'm smart in bodybuilding, I'm like, I don't even know why we did some of the shit that we did. But
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
if I can see him doing that, and then even you like pushing me to do 30, 40 reps, 315 deadlifts. Like I could, I
Ah,
could, I
yeah.
could do whatever I want.
Hmm. You know what's funny though is when I came to town and we was doing legs that day. Nat was with us, I think, and
Yeah.
I saw you banging on the the hack. You had more weight on there, and because my workouts have been not workouts, and
I
I'm sitting
remember
there trying
that.
to keep up
I
with
remember
you. I'm
that.
like, what the hell right now, right? Yeah.
Yep. Matt was done after like 2 sets.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He was
He
taxed.
was puking after 2 sets.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so how are you enjoying the ride with the military?
It's definitely a challenge. I think it's man, I don't even know how to explain it. It's
Well,
just
let's
something.
let's ask you this: how does the military mesh with the training and discipline you've gotten from bodybuilding? How are you using the training, the discipline that you got out of that, or are you using anything from what you learned?
Oh yeah. So a lot of the training and the discipline that I got from like bodybuilding and whatever, it makes me stand out a lot. Like they see the discipline, they see is people are seeing that I'm eating the same food every single day. While a lot of these military guys are eating their hot dogs, their monsters, and their Pepsis and stuff like that. So they could definitely see like I'm a lot more disciplined than majority of these guys. I don't think I've met anybody that's. I'm not trying to be like cocky or arrogant or anything, but I haven't met anybody in the military yet that's as disciplined as I am when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Like there's people obviously like smarter or whatever, but I think it's my discipline that I got from bodybuilding, the work ethic that I got from our training, and so on and so forth. That so I put on E6. I put on E6 in about 6 years, 7 years, which I'm considered a fast burner because I put on rank really fast. So like that right there speaks in itself what our training, the diet, the discipline, and all this other stuff. Like it's really reflected. It's straight up reflected in the military. Like you could literally see what straight hard work can get you. And
Right,
I'm
there
not
you
the
go.
smartest.
I
Yep, I'm not
got
the
you.
smartest. Yep, I'm
What's
not
the,
the
what's a
smartest.
normal track for as a pace to E6?
Let's just say that there are E5s right now that have been in for 10 years, 10 years plus almost.
And you got what, 7 in?
Yep, I'm 7. I'm probably one of the youngest tech sergeants, E6s on my base right now.
Nice. Yeah, yeah. Do do you find that people are they interested in what drives you? Are they interested in your version of how they could uh fast track or how they could develop? And do they try to get information from you?
They do. I mean, so the first few ranks are given to you. You can earn the E4 rank if like you can't earn that 6 months earlier, which is called below the zone, which I did get. Um, then the E5 and E6, you take a test for that. So my advice to some of the people that like are having a hard time making the E6 rank, I'm like, you have to study until you're sick. Because I'm not smart. I'm not smart at all. But when I studied for that test, I made myself sick. Like, and I don't get sick often, but I went to urgent care like I think a week before I took the test. Because I'm like, I don't know what's going on with me. Like I'm dying over here. But I literally made myself sick. I would study with an app that kind of like you could talk, has like some like voice and all that. But I'd be singing those answers. Like it was like a lyrics and stuff. But yeah, I literally made myself sick. And you just gotta take the studying like you gotta take it to the grave with you. You just gotta go. You just gotta keep
Yeah.
studying. How badly do you really want to make this rank? And
Yeah.
I'd be there every morning in the shower, brushing my teeth before I go to bed, just studying, just studying the whole time. But that's what I would tell people. And then obviously, like there are some tips and tricks that you could do in the military. Like you got to stand out, of course. It's hard to explain if you're not military. Um, you know what I mean? But just try to stick out as much as you can. Try to stick out and do a lot of hard work, pretty much.
What would you say to um because your life, what you've explained so far, just says a ton about your resolve and discipline itself, perseverance. You know, if you were trying to impart something to somebody uh, that was trying or struggling through something, who wanted to access uh, their better self,
Mhm.
what would you share with them?
I think some of the things that I would share to them are things that I actually tell myself. But it's like don't let other people try to dictate who you are. And then don't let other people kind of like control or get involved in your path. So I feel like a lot of people tend to fail at what they want is because of other people. Which I'm not saying all people are bad, but you got to like really be careful with who you surround yourself with and stuff like that because if you're going to hang out with a bunch of people that are they want to drink or whatever, you're eventually going to be just like them. It's the saying goes like you are the company who you keep or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real thing, and I see it a lot with like some of my troops that I have under me and like just the people around me. And I think that's like what factors a lot of how I am versus them because they're just the conveniences that we have these days, the just like the negativity that's being shared on social media and all that stuff. It's just there to like deter you from what you really want to do in life.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm not on social media much. I just like I said, like the whole silence thing is like a real thing for me. Like I really love the fact that I've always been like that. Like I barely ever get on social media. You know what I mean? I don't really you can kind of say like I'm a loner. I don't really hang out with people much. It's just me, my wife, and then just like, all right, well, what's next? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think the biggest one I could say is just don't let other people like, hey, you can't do that. Because I know for you, you've never ever told me you can't do that. You would listen and you provide some sort of guidance. And that's why I think, and the same thing with my other mentor, right? Paul, I'm gonna just give him his name, rest in peace. He was also the same way. He would just listen to me. And he would be like, do you really think that's a good idea? And he would listen to my input. And you were the same exact way. I think that's why I mesh with you guys or consider you guys my mentors. But yeah, I think it's probably that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What, uh, considering, I know you're pretty uh, keen in your thought processes. Uh, what do you, how do you feel about the whole silence thing? How do you feel like, is this something that you would adjust for any reason? Uh, where does that silence stem from? Is there something that you feel like what a special place that came from or something?
So I think it came from. So the reason we moved to Georgia is because how bad I was getting. So my mom believed that I was either going to go to jail or I'm going to get killed. So she's like, "Hey, we got to move you away from your friends." And I think because of that, that's where I gained the weight and all the other stuff, and fell down to a deep depression because I didn't have my friends, or like I didn't have like anybody, right? So what I had to do was just learn how to be like who I am. Like, so I feel like I kind of discovered who I am early, unlike most people with like a lot of distractions. So I feel like silence is something that I feel like everybody should try to learn, or just being in your brain and like really know who you are. And then from there, because you don't want it to be too much, you know what I mean? You want to be socialized. We're social creatures. You want to be able to socialize and communicate, because communication is really important. And I feel like I kind of hindered my life a little bit because I was too much in the silent area.
No, yeah, too far.
Yeah, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I missed a lot of opportunities and connections, and probably meeting more mentors or meeting more good friends. But in like, the opposite end of that is I feel like everyone should know who they truly are and what they truly want.
Mm, that's dope. That's dope. Uh, yeah. No, we're definitely uh, positioned and equipped with what we need for the ride. I just think so many of us missed the boat on that, like you said, in part because of friends and distractions and stuff like that that's going on around them. That and those distractions and friends do exactly what they're designed to do, is distract you.
Yep.
And instead of looking inside, you always looking outside for identification. You know what I mean? And so
Exactly.
you said a key thing. I guarantee you, man, we talking off the same sheet of music for some reason, because I've been big on who am I lately. Like, within the last year or so, I made it a point to define that for myself. You know, who am I? Not and what it was, it became a process of elimination for a lot of stuff, and a vetting process about every single thing that's going on around me. If I was in the moment in my mind considering whatever this thing was, and that thought came up, I would now question whatever that was, so I could consciously answer myself on
Yep.
what I think about this thing. So now we go back into the narrative, or the narratives that have been set in front of us so long, that's what we think we know. That's what we think we got to do, and the rest of this stuff. And when I started finding stuff wasn't matching up with me spiritually and stuff like that, the vetting process was on. It was like, nope, what's this? Nope.
Yep.
It was everything that happened. It was no first, and
Right.
then I would weigh it. Right. So yeah, um, and that's been huge. It's been huge. Because I've been in a major stage of development in my life for quite some time now, and using tools like that really just helped me get way more laser focused on what is to become of me if I don't stop
Mm-hmm.
wasting time, like you said, and what's to possibly become of me if I get on my SHIT. You know what I'm saying? A wise man once told me two things that I never forget. Number one, you gonna live forever. Number two,
say something.